This is BailStreet. Crime, finance, and everything in between. Hosted by Ira Jettleson, bail bondsman to the stars, and Danny Moses of The Big Short fame. This is BailStreet.
Welcome to a new episode of BailStreet. I'm Danny Moses.
I'm Ira Jettleson.
You know, Ira, we tend to pick up people along our paths when we go on vacation together, in business, whatever. We found a great one to bring on the show today, Jeremy Roenick.
JR.
We're going to talk about how we met at the Blackjack table, of course.
In the Bahamas, right?
What's going on in his life, the beats that his son is now laying down. Talk about what the future holds for him since he's no longer with NBC.
And we're also going to talk about his gambling story with Michael Jordan after everybody in the world has just seen The Last Dance.
Correct. And it'll be interesting to hear his take on Michael Jordan in general, coming from a superior athlete and how he thinks about the world. So with that, let's welcome Jeremy Roenick onto the show.
Hey, what's up, JR? Boys? It's been a long time since the Bahamas.
Yes.
Little different scenario, little different times, right?
Yeah, that might have been the last. That was the last time I gambled. That's for sure. But yeah, that was a trip. I wanted to tell the story of how we met you when you sat down at the blackjack table.
I think that is a must tell because.
So I'm sitting at third base. I'd love to get your interpretation, Jeremy. But I'm sitting at third base. Ira's in the middle. Jeremy sits down at first base right across from me. I look, immediately make eye contact. I know exactly who you are. And I'm like, wow, Jeremy Roenick's sitting at the table. But I don't say that. Ira takes a quick glance, does one of these, looks down. I'm like, oh, God, here it comes. Ira looks again. He goes, hey, Jeremy. You look over like, hey. Ira goes, tough week, huh?
Yeah.
That was Christmas week.
First words out of Ira's mouth. Tough week, huh? Because I had just gotten suspended, and it was all over it literally went viral all over the world within hours. And that was the first night or the second night that I've been suspended. And listen, don't pull any punches. Fuck that. Just say,
So I apologize. So
I wanted to make you feel comfortable. You understand? I want to let you know my personality right off the bat.
Listen, I think I told you this story, Ira. It's one of my greatest friends in the world. Called me an asshole within a minute of meeting him, okay? And we became like best friends ever since. I like that in your face, just you're brutally honest and you can.
What you see is what you get. That's exactly who you are.
I don't like fake people. I don't like, getting smoke blown up my ass and all that stuff. And by no means did you do that. It was awesome.
I told you, our friendship was built from that moment on. We made some money at the table.
Yep.
And we hung out in the Bahamas. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Had a nice, we all won that hand. Some cocktails. Got to meet the boys, the sons. It was pretty ironic. We had Westminster
Go Martlets.
With in common with our sons. It was a friendship match made in heaven or in the Bahamas. It's perfect.
I agree. Happy 50th birthday, by the way. At least you didn't have to spend that in quarantine.
Yeah, it's I barely beat it, but I can't believe I don't feel 50. I still feel 24 and look 50. But
you don't look a day over 49.
Yeah,
so we met your son down there, and I made the introduction to my son, who's still at Westminster, who now, because of the NCAA dead period, will probably not even get recruited in lacrosse. So he didn't have a season up there. But your son is making music now. So every bad story has a good story. So he's been in quarantine.
It's really weird because he's a huge music fan. He loves music, listens to music all the time. And, during quarantine, I would come downstairs in the morning and he'd be sitting at the end of the table with his hoodie on and his headphones on. And he'd just be singing. And I'm like, what's going on every single morning? And one day we came down and he put the headphones on me and said, listen to this. And I said, wow, this is pretty good. Who is it? He goes, it's me. I said,
really?
I said, shut that up. No, it's not you. And he goes, yeah, that's me. And I was blown away. And he did it on his computer, and just figured out how to do it. Now he's talked to some music people and has got some good advice on how to make his music better, and he's working on a second album. So he really enjoys it. It's a hobby of his.
Tell him to send me some stuff. I'll send it to the right people. I'm close to Fat Joe. I'm close to Ja Rule. I'm close to Rock Nation.
Beautiful. I will definitely do that.
Send it to me. We got nothing to lose, right? We're playing house money.
Baby. Hey, listen, that's what friends are for, right?
Of course. That's how we do things here.
It's all about who you know and all about your contacts. So when he drops his next album, you'll be the first to get it. And I think he's learned a lot, and I think the next one is going to be even better. I was shocked that the guy can write music like that and throw a skiff together like that the way he did. It was pretty impressive.
God bless him.
We actually had met you years before that, but Ira was,
I don't think you remember that.
This is a great story, by the way.
We're in the Bahamas again.
This is
we're at the Cove. It's Michael Jordan weekend. It was right around Martin Luther King's birthday. Yep. You're there. Yep. You got Mario Lemieux there. I think Brett Holm might be there. You had Janet Jones, Gretzky. Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and I had a shirt on. It said, "I slept with Tiger." And I'm walking around with it, and I see you, and you're dying laughing. And Jordan's at the table. He probably had about $500,000 worth of chips and 3 bodyguards around him. And I'm hammered out of my mind trying to fuck around with Jordan. He looks at me, pulls his glasses down, and told me to get the fuck out of there. But I watched The Last Dance, and I think it's mostly one of the most incredible stories. I couldn't believe what Jordan took place, but it brings me back to the time. I know you told a story on a podcast about you playing with Jordan when you were in Chicago. Tell me about that one.
36
yeah. Well, first of all, I loved watching that whole series of Michael Jordan. He's on a different planet than every other athlete in the world, in my opinion. And the footage that they were able to collect over all those years is absolutely stunning and mind-boggling. And to see how Michael really was as an athlete and as a competitor and as a teammate, as a true champion was truly unbelievable. And his ability to do things under such severe pressure. So the story with me, I got a call on a Sunday night from Michael. This is in April back in the early 90s. He says, "JR, meet me at Sunset Ridge in the morning. We'll play some golf." And I said, "Michael, you got a game tomorrow?" Because it's okay. I'll just meet you down there. We'll have a little money game. And so I meet him at 7:00 at Sunset Ridge, and just outside of Chicago. And we play 18 holes, and I give him a pretty good beating and beat him for $4 or $5 grand. And then I was getting ready to leave, thinking Michael's going to go take a nap and get ready for his game. He goes, let's roll around again. It's only 10:00. Let's 10:30. Let's get some beers. So we ordered, a case. Put in the and we were walking. We had caddies, so we went around 18 again. We probably each had 12 cold ones, and I beat him for another couple grand. And it's about 3:00 now, and we've been running around the golf course for 8 hours. And Michael's getting ready to go in the car to go down to the stadium. I said, "Good luck tonight." I said, I'm calling my bookie and betting on Cleveland tonight. Good luck. And he's like, "I'll tell you what, whatever I owe you, I bet you we win by more than 20 and I score more than 40. I'm like, done. Done. They won by 26. He drops 52.
That motherfucker, he's just unbelievable.
He is he's one of the most unbelievable athletes and one of the most competitive guys. And his brain, when he decides to turn something on and when he wants to do something, he does it. And he's an amazing guy. Like, I think you got to see his competitive side. And many people might have called him a dick as a teammate because he challenged people, yelled at people, got into some scuffles with some teammates. But that's what made him so great. And, away from the court, he was amazing to hang out with. But he is Michael Jordan. You got to remember, it's tough to be Michael Jordan. It's tough to have people coming up to you and bothering you all the time. And everywhere you go, you have no privacy. But he does the best that he can with it, and he treats people great. And he's always treated me great. He's I think for sure probably the best athlete that I've ever known. What's funny about that? Moving away from Michael on that whole documentary. Wasn't it funny to hear Scottie Pippen's reaction of the whole thing? How he was pissed that they made him look bad, and that I'm thinking, how did the makers or the producers of that make him look bad? He made himself.
He made himself look bad.
He made himself look bad. When you sit on a bench and don't come out to play in the last 10 seconds for your team because you're not taking a shot. I don't think it's the producers making yourself look bad. If he would have done that in a hockey arena, in a hockey game, he would have got his ass kicked in the locker room after the game by every single guy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. All the years you played, okay, obviously with all the teammates you played with, any teammates that you sat there and just said, man, I just love playing with you, man. I might not like you, but I respect you.
I have that I played with?
With and against. Give me a with first.
Chris Chelios is one of the best teammates of all time. We call him Captain America. He's probably the most respected American hockey player of all time. He was a lot like Michael Jordan, would put in the work, worked it hard every single night, was dedicated to his fitness every single day, was always the most in shape guy, first to the rink, last to leave, was the most passionate about the game. So Chris Chelios, but he was a fucker when you played against him. I remember he was in a game against Detroit, and he gets Sergei Fedorov. We got a little skirmish in the corner and this kind of little melee. And Chris Chelios gets Sergei Fedorov in a headlock. And Chelly is the strongest person from the tip of his fingers to his elbow, the strongest human being, hand grip wise. And he had Sergei Fedorov in a chokehold, in a headlock. And I can hear Sergei Fedorov screaming, "You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. Help me. Help me." And he's yelling to the refs. I went off the bench and I was laughing so hard. And Sergei heard it from the boys after that a lot. Keith Tkachuk, what an unbelievable teammate he is.
Right.
Again, fight for you. We'll do anything. I don't know if you guys, and I'll kind of pull this into the same answer. One of the guys that I can't stand playing against, and I hated playing against, I wanted to break his fucking ankles every time I played him, was Darian Hatcher, because he blew my knee out. He broke my jaw. Right. He inflicted so much pain and so much injury on me over the years by being a competitive player, being a motherfucker, being a guy that's how Darian Hatcher played. He was a captain for a reason, because he stuck up for his players. And, he broke my jaw after I took liberties on Mike Modano in 1998. And I always wanted to get him back. I never did, but I respected him because he did what every teammate would want you to do: stick up for your own teammates, play hard every single night. He's actually the first American captain ever to win a Stanley Cup. So you got to take your hat off to somebody like that. But I fucking hated him. I couldn't stand playing against him. It drove me crazy. And then the next game after Darian broke my jaw, who's right off the face-off? Who goes right after Hatcher and fights him?
Chelios.
Keith Tkachuk.
Tkachuk.
Yeah. So those are the kind of guys that,
right.
I've played with so many great guys and so many great teammates. Mark Recchi, absolutely spectacular. Tony Amonte. I think Tony Amonte is my soulmate of teammates, wingers, guys I played with. I could have played blindfolded with Tony. So, a lot of guys that I played with that they're, I played probably the best generation of hockey of all time. I got to play
Absolutely.
with.
Well, you have
against a lot of the best.
You have some great stories. So when they do the 30 for 30 on you, and hopefully that'll be in the next few years, the stories between.
Well, it can't be on ESPN because there'll be a lot of F-bombs and a lot of swears in there. So who knows?
I think you're okay after what I just.
We'll
saw.
do a Netflix then.
Who's the best player right now? Connor McDavid. I mean, who's the most dominant? You think?
I've never seen a player as talented as Connor McDavid. When you talk about sheer talent, sheer speed, the ability to change a game, the ability to play with the puck at the high velocity of speed that he does and do everything like it's slow motion for him. There is nobody that can separate himself from a defender or make a defender look more stupid or embarrassed than Connor McDavid. His first 3 years in the league, 100 points, makes it look easy. Crosby has been the poster child for the National Hockey League. He's probably one of the smartest players. I think Connor McDavid, Crosby, Gretzky and Crosby were the smartest players I've ever seen. Mario Lemieux, obviously, but one of the most intimidating was Mark Messier. I remember lining up against Mark Messier at center ice and be so scared because he's sitting there with his big jaw, locked his big jaws and his square face, and he looked like he wanted to, eat you and kill your kids before you drop the puck. And I remember telling the referee just to drop the puck as fast as he possibly could because I just didn't want to stand in that faceoff circle with Mark Messier. But I think right now, I think Alex Ovechkin, in my opinion, is the best goal scorer I've ever seen. Brett Hull, I think Brett Hull and Jaromir Jagr are up there, but they played in a time where the goaltenders weren't great. A lot of them were stand-up goaltenders. The butterfly was just being created in the mid-90s. A lot of goals being scored on terrible goaltenders that couldn't cover the corners. Nowadays, where goaltenders are so athletic, so big, the equipment's big, they cover the net, they're in shape, and you have Alex Ovechkin scoring 50 a year. I think he goes down for me as the best goal scorer I've ever seen.
Yeah, this break's going to hurt his ability to catch the record, right? Because of
I think it does. Yeah. Because he would have scored 50 again this year. And when you miss 10, 15, 20 games and you're as close to goals per game that Alex Ovechkin's probably going to be coming up towards that record, 10 games could be the difference.
What do you make of the plan to bring back hockey? And, I guess we're in phase 2. Is phase 3 and 4 going to happen? Is there going to be a season, you think?
I think so. I think what's going to really determine things right now is whether the spike in Corona is real or not, or whether it's going to hamper the players if they're not watching where they are being home quarantined or quarantined somewhere. I think that's going to have a lot to do with it. But I think the NHL is going about it the right way. I think they have the right mentality, the right rules, the right setups. Whether the players can come back and make sure that they do take care of themselves, and one player doesn't get it, if it doesn't spread, I think you'll probably see hockey being played by August.
Good. We need sports back.
Yeah,
we do. We need a lot of things back, Judge. We need a lot of things back. We need our businesses back. A lot of people need their lives back. It's been awful seeing what's happened in our country over the last 4 months. Obviously, nobody expected coronavirus to lock us down like it has. I think it's been as much political as it has been pandemic. But it's unfortunate that so many people have died or have had problems that we've had. But to me, to shut down a country, one that's as powerful and as dominant as ours, and a country that's as resilient as ours, and people that is resilient. I mean, we have 30,000, 40,000 people that die of the flu every year. How many people die of heart disease? How many die of car crashes?
I agree.
How many people, like Hawaii, you couldn't even go to the beach, go in the water. Okay. They had 17 deaths at one point in Hawaii, and you couldn't go in the water. You know that Hawaii averages 2 deaths per day in the course of a year, 2 deaths per day that have to do with water incidents, but they still allow people in the water. So, because Corona, you can't go in the water. It drives me crazy.
Jay, you're telling Noah about a flood. Me and Danny will differ on this, on what we think. I have my kids that are locked down. I don't think you're going to understand the effect that it's going to have on children.
Yeah, it's got it really bad back there.
Oh, yeah, we do. I mean, look, if nobody in a lifetime would think that one day the world would shut down, everybody be on house arrest for 4 months, my kid would be learning virtually, I'd be walking around my fucking neighborhood all day long seeing the same fucking people like it's Pleasantville. I mean, It's absolutely crazy. And look, my business, and you know what I do, I'm a bail bondsman. And there's crime all over the place, but they're not making arrests out there. Yeah. So that world is even shut down. So people don't have any idea what's going on with that world.
A couple of things that have left the world: common sense, and being educated, being informed. The hypocrisy it's gone to a level that I don't think anybody could even imagine how much hypocrisy has entered our country.
To be fair, there were some states that didn't even start to adhere to any of the social distancing measures. So
sure, of course.
They didn't have an impact at the beginning, and it took a while for the wave to get there, and now it's getting there. And so, listen, there's an offset to everything. But I think people are just sick and tired of being told where they have to be. I think there's a social, responsibility aspect of it. But at the same time, this is a long way from over.
Yeah, but you know what also, I mean, listen, this is a free country, and we have a few things that in our possession in a free country. We have a voice, we have the ability to earn a living, and we have the ability to make our own decisions. And, to have the government be telling us what to do in a free country, it's what we totally stand against. To tell people they can't go out and earn a living, and they have to sit there and watch their lives crumble, their lifelong dreams crumble, and not take a chance. Hey, if you're really scared, stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home. If you're really scared, stay home. If you want to go out and you want to battle the elements like we do with everything that we do. I could walk outside and get hit by a car. Doesn't mean you take cars off the road. I can get into an accident. Doesn't mean I don't drive. Yes, this is something that's new. And now it's like, where's the antivirus? Well, do we have an antivirus for H1N1 that killed over 60,000 people in 2012? Do we have one for Zika? You deal with things that come up. To just shut the country down as fast as we did.
But to be fair, those weren't as contagious as the others. But yes, I hear you. But those weren't as contagious. This one is much more.
A lot of things contagious.
I don't know if it's so contagious, Dan, as much as we don't understand what it's about, and when we don't understand what it's about, everybody runs and gets scared. So look.
Well, let's talk about what you have been doing in quarantine, because you're having fun, as much fun as you can, Jeremy. Look, I saw the obstacle course.
But it's so funny you said that. It's funny you said that, because we talked about how I got suspended in December and met you guys.
You got suspended?
Then I get fired in February, and then when I got fired, I didn't have a job. Then 3 weeks later, nobody had a job. So everybody. Right?
So what happened? Why did you get suspended?
You brought coronavirus. I think you caused it all just to get back at everybody.
Yeah. Well, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas at the time, and I was playing cards at a table that was full of crazy card players from all over the world. So I could have brought something back from Vegas. So who knows what I started?
Well, one of the things I did in quarantine, I called you. I was watching Swingers. Speaking of Vegas, always double down on 11. The scene where you make Gretzky's head bleed in the thing is just epic. And I'd forgotten. I played that game for 4 years in college, obviously.
It's not so much me, it's Roenick. He's good.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so much Roenick. But that was unbelievable. Watching, I'm like, yeah, here we go again. But then I saw that you've been watching The Wire, which is one of the greatest shows of all time.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I think they have to take that off air now, right? Then aren't they taking all
it might be, but
detective shows?
I saw that you were watching.
That's one of the best shows out there. One of the best shows I've ever seen was The Wire. Every season.
Well, it was funny because I went to my social media because I was looking for something to watch. I already went through Billions. I went through Ozark. I went through.
I saw Billions.
I went through Goliath. I went through Goliath. I went through The Five. I went through Homeland. So that was the majority rule was The Wire. To show they were all saying, watch The Wire. It's awesome. Watch The Wire. Another one that people told me to watch was Afterlife with Rick Gervais. It was amazing. It was talk about
funny. He's very
freaking heartstrings. But it was a lot of Netflix and Prime Video and all that stuff, and playing lots of golf because our golf course is never closed in Arizona. So I got to go out, hike, work out, play as much golf as possible. So it wasn't so bad being quarantined in Arizona.
How's your golf game?
It's really tight right now. It's really tight. I played my first senior event this last week. As you did say, I did turn 50, right?
Yep.
So I qualify now for the Arizona Senior Association. Played in my first tournament, shot 69, placed fourth.
Wow.
So, not a bad way to start my senior.
Did you ever play Smoltz when you were down in
I played Smoltz a lot. Great player, really smooth.
Who's better?
Well, I'm going to say I'm better, of course.
Right.
And Smoltz will say I'm better too. He'll say he's better.
Are you a plus? You're what, a +2?
I'm a +1 right now. I'm a +1.
Amazing.
Playing some good golf. I played 6 days straight this last week. I had 2 69s, a 68, 71, 70, and a 77 at one bad day in a week of playing golf. So my body's still hanging in there.
That's good. And you're walking with a caddy, or are you in a cart? Do they allow caddies there?
Kidding me? I'm in a cart.
Why are hockey players? So the club that Ira actually belonged to this club that we belong to.
I got thrown out.
He got thrown out of the club. but the club champ
I understand your pain. I've been there before too.
Well, the club champ was Alexei Kovalev for like.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He's a great stick.
He's a left.
Yes.
Kobe's a great stick. He's real smooth. He had one of the best sets of hands I've ever seen on a hockey player. He could stick handle in a phone booth. He was so beautiful to watch, and it doesn't surprise me how good of a golfer he is because he's got amazing touch. It's unreal.
Yeah, hockey players. I guess it's hand-eye, and it's just.
What club were you at?
Willow Ridge.
Willow Ridge. They threw me out, Jared, because I was wearing Timberlands around the pool, and I got into a little scuffle with one of the members up top because he didn't like my kid.
I got kicked out because I got into a couple scuffles and broke maybe 2 cart windshields.
That's why I love you. That's why right away at the table we knew we were going to be right here, me and you, because
I'm a competitive motherfucker.
Me too.
And that in golf is really the only way I can get my competitive juices out. And I hate losing. I hate losing more than I like winning. And sometimes my competitive juices get the best of me. And next thing you know, I'm getting into trouble.
I was at I don't mean to cut you short, but I was at a father-son baseball game and I threw up my kid's head because he gave me the look like he wanted to do something with the bat. So you can understand the competitiveness of my fucking head. He's never looked back at me again. Right at his fucking head, I threw it at him.
Hey, listen, it teaches kids something, resilience.
Every parent looked at me like, are you kidding me? My own wife looked at me. She goes, are you out of your fucking mind? I go, he'll never look back like that again.
Lucky the cops didn't come take you away because someone called and complained.
I bailed myself out.
Jeremy, you're lucky you didn't sit around at the blackjack table with us for that long because Ira will sometimes just play by feel all of a sudden. He'd be like, no, I'm just not hitting that 14 against the 10. I go, Ira, you got to hit the 14 against the 10. We get in fights at the table. And the 1 out of 10 times you're like, oh, see, I would have busted. I'm like, yeah, but
you hit a 16 against a 10. You hit it every single time.
This guy, look, this is a mathematician that basically, made the Big Short. He thinks he's the man. Everything's fucking numbers. It's ridiculous. I know, but stop already with the fucking math.
Just math. It's just math. That's all it is. Jeremy,
you know what I say? You know what I say? This is what I say with blackjack. Be consistent. Because if you're not going to hit on 14, never hit on 14. If you're not going to hit on 16, never hit on 16. If you hit on 16, you just have to be consistent because when you stop being consistent, it screws up the whole table.
I have seen hands, and I've gambled a lot. I'll tell you 2 quick stories. One my dad saw and one that I saw. My dad saw a guy split 10s, and there was an old lady that was sitting next to him. This is a true story. It was in Vegas years ago, and the old lady turned to the man and she said, "Son, if you had a 14-inch dick, would you cut it in half?" Just like that's a true story. The second one I saw. I saw a guy get dealt blackjack. He was sitting on my right. I had 20 blackjack. The dealer goes to pay him 3-2. He goes, no. And I look at him. I go, this is not a blackjack tournament. This is you're getting paid here. He goes, no, I'm going to double. Dealer goes, excuse me. He goes, yes, I'd like to treat that ace jack as an 11. I turn to the guy and he goes, are you upset? I go, I don't even know what word to come up with. You're being handed 3-2. You're risking double to win even money at that point. It makes no sense. You're literally effectively laying odds on this card. He goes, I go, let me ask you a question. Were you on a plane ride here and watched some video or read some stupid book that told you to do this? Because the only time you would ever do that, if it's a last hand in a blackjack tournament and you had to have that extra 25% in order to win. I don't have to tell you what happens, right?
Yeah.
I push, he loses. Everybody, I've never been that. I've just craziest thing I've ever seen at a table.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The worst thing I've ever seen is the guy next to me had 3-3 ace against a dealer's face card, and he stayed.
He stick.
3-3 ace, and he stayed. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I have 17." I said, "No, you have 7. You have 7."
Right.
And he's like, "No, I'm staying. I have 17." And of course, dealer flips over a face card.
Where's Keith Kachuk when you need him to literally take that guy and wrap him in a minute? By the way, last thing, my wife's best friend was playing in Atlantic City, had a 5 and a 4, stuck. The dealer says, "Ma'am, you want a stick?" She goes, "Yes, I have 20." And he goes, "How do you figure?" She goes, 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. You can't make that up. I mean, I couldn't have made up that story if I even tried. I mean, wonder why when you walk into these casinos, you see the chandelier, you got a Da Vinci, you got
a. Right. There's a reason they build those big casinos, right? It's not because we have a bunch of Einsteins in the building.
What are you doing now? After all the shit that went down, what are you doing now? Because I want to get into what happened with that shit.
Yeah. So what? You guys know Eric Burns? He's on MLB.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Played for the Dodgers. No, Arizona, right?
Played for Arizona. Yeah. Played up in San Francisco. He's a phenomenal character. I think if you don't follow him on Instagram, he's a must follow. He's me in the baseball in the baseball form. Okay, we're both crazy. We're both out there. So he invited me to get involved in the start of a new streaming platform that's being constructed right now called No Filter Broadcast. So starting, hoping probably the next couple of weeks, sometime this summer, we'll be doing broadcasts over live streaming and creating original content on No Filter, and we'll be able to say whatever we want because we won't have to abide by the FCC guidelines because we won't be showing the games. We'll just be commentating on the games and doing original content and pretty much giving what the fan wants the most. And that's a true, honest opinion of what we see about sports. We'll have a gambling show. I'll have a show about the week that was, which things that pissed me off over the week, the things that made me happy over the week, both politics, life, sports, and have the ability to be engaged with the fan. I'll be able to bring fans onto the platform, have a conversation, have a debate, answer questions that they want to have about what's going on in the game or why something happened or why the refs suck so bad, or if someone doesn't agree with me, bringing them on and you have an argument. Whether somebody wants to come on and call me an asshole, that's great. It's going to be in your face live. It's kind of like Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, that meets Facebook all in one with Dolby Stereo, and it'll be able to really have that fan interaction that I think everybody really loves to have. So No Filter Broadcast will be starting this summer, and tell you the truth, I am working on trying to come up with a chocolate whiskey, a new whiskey blend that I'm a big whiskey guy. So
you like whiskey, huh?
Yeah, I like whiskey.
Me too.
I got to introduce you to my boy McGregor. Connor came out with, what is that, prop number 12?
Yeah, Connor. A lot of people are coming out with whiskeys. It seems to be the thing to do. Whiskey is so hot right now. So right now I'm in the final process of coming up with my whiskey blend, and then hopefully bring it to market by the end of 2020 and have some fun in the whiskey business.
Maybe you could call the label threesome or something like that. Or like
you know what? That might be a real.
What happened? What happened with the threesome? We heard a little bit. Tell us what you know.
Nothing happened. There was no threesome.
No, I know. I want to know why NBC fucked around.
You know what's crazy is I am on a racy podcast and talking about a story about my wife and my my co-host Catherine Tappan and we went away on vacation, all great friends. And I was talking about how people were viewing us walking around Portugal, like me with two beautiful women. And by the way, I never even said the word threesome.
I know.
And I absolutely talk so highly of all the people I work with, and especially Catherine, how great a woman she is, how great she is at her job, how professional she is, how she's probably one of the best females in all sports and at what she does. And the problem is what I didn't know at the time, but it seems to come out. NBC was under investigation.
I know that.
A huge investigation.
I knew that. You see, I wish I could have told you that before I sat at the table, because obviously.
The higher ranks at NBC were really under the gun of being investigated about cover-ups and
sexual harassments and all the shit that was going up there.
And then my stupid little thing came about, and they just said, we can't have any distractions. So I think I was a sacrificial lamb.
Absolutely.
No question about it. I definitely feel that my boss, Sam Flood, found a way to say, look what I'm doing. I'm clean. I'm making sure that my part of the business is not going to be a problem. And I was the guy that he, that he sacrificed in the look at what I do, the narcissist that he is. But that's, I learned a big lesson that, life changes and people's attitude changes, and you got to be really careful about some of the things that you say, because you're going to offend somebody. And sometimes you got to roll with the punches. It just happened that there was a
It was timing, Jerry. It was just the wrong.
And by the way,
time.
I wasn't going back in July anyway. You know, I had reached my peak at NBC. They weren't going to use me in any other capacity. They weren't going to grow, you know, my talents and let me do other things. So I was pretty much at a dead end with them anyway. So, you know.
Well, now you're going to have this great.
Yeah, good things, right? Good things come out of bad things, right? So for me, you know, NBC treated me really well for the 10 years that I was there. I can't say bad things about, you know, them giving me the opportunity to jump into people's living rooms and talk about hockey and show my excitement and my knowledge for hockey. It really, I learned a lot for those 10 years that I was on television. So, you know, I thank them for that. But I was pretty disappointed with the way that they treated me at the end. But, you know, you live and learn, and that's the way it goes.
You're the man, brother. I love you.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I look forward to your next chapter, man, and the whole uncensored aspect, a little bit of menery, but with a lot more sports knowledge attached to it. It's going to be really cool. So
yeah, it's going to be fun. And, you know, I just want to be real. I want to speak the truth. I think people out there, they don't want to hear the cliches. They don't want to hear the blah, blah, blah. They want real opinions, and they want real controversy, and they want someone to tell them straight up what they're thinking. And I've tried to do that as much as I possibly can. Sometimes it's gotten me in trouble, but you know what they say sometimes negative publicity is better than no publicity at all. So I've definitely hit some of those spots.
When are you coming to New York?
Not anytime soon. You guys are locked down. But when I do, the three of us, we're going out for dinner. We're gonna hit the town hard.
Okay, here we are, brother. You're the best.
No question. You guys are awesome, and I'm glad that I can come on with you guys. Let's do it again, but next time live and in person, okay?
You got it.
Absolutely. Stay healthy, my friend.
All right, Jeremy. Thanks, guys.
That'll wrap it up for this episode of Bail Street. You can subscribe to our podcast at BailStreet.com or any other service that you use to download podcasts. We'll see you next time on Bail Street. I'm Danny Moses.
I'm Ira Jettleson.